Boogety, 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 JB, back. We're fast, we're loose. He's fast, I'm loose, fast and loose, breaking it down
This
for
guy.
you. We got a new episode, our breaking double digits. This is our Ty Dillon, our Scott Riggs, our Danica Patrick episode. Depends
Shout out
on when
Danica
you
Patrick,
started,
hey.
yeah, it depends on when you started watching NASCAR. Cut up all other drivers in the 10 car, Eric Almirola at one point. Yeah, like I said, cracking the double-digit mark today, JB. We got a couple of cool things on the desk. As always, we've got, the Dale Earnhardt
Praise
rug.
Hill, praise Dale.
But throwing it back a little bit today, we've got all retired drivers up here
I know
today.
you got the classics up here today, man. Check this out.
We got, we'll start out viewers left to right. We got the throwback classic Ryan Newman. I kind of fucked up. I should have brought the rain cover that comes with this car because some of these die
Wait, what?
Yeah, bro. When they had rain covers, I'll bring it next week. It's a little mental note for myself.
Get out of it. They actually came with rain covers.
They came with rain covers. We'll throw up a picture of what they used to look like. They're pretty badass, too.
Huh.
Next up, like I said, I'm a sucker for the Valvoline
The
sponsor.
Valvoline 6.
This is a hard car for our guy, his driver, the number 6, Mark Martin. He said not only just the Viagra, the Pfizer, the Valvoline, but Marky Mark in the number 6. And then one of my cousin's favorite drivers, a one-time champion, maybe twice, but Dale Jarrett in the 88. Quality Care Service was another sponsor of his for a long time. Then the UPS for a while. That's what I remember Dale Jarrett driving for the long time.
And that's a classic UPS car too, man.
Old school, yeah. For
like,
sure.
like that's old school
Like
UPS.
brown and yellow,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then last but not least, rounding out the Roush team, the Sitgo 99, Mr. Jeff Burton. The first iteration of the 99 car I can remember in my lifetime. And the paint, the scheme, the font, all of it, just classic throwback. Takes me back to being like 2 or 3 years old. So, a little bit lighter on the desk compared to what we've had the last few weeks, but again, like I said, these are all the cars I used to play around with as a little tyke rolling around.
We do have something very, very special on the desk
Yes.
that someone was being very secretive about.
Yes.
Didn't tell anybody.
In the most prominent position on the desk because it is well deserved. It is a limited edition National Unicorn Day released Sparkle Smash Monster Jam
Sparkle
truck.
Smash.
Proud owner of Mr. JB Smooth.
Because someone ordered it for me, even though they weren't supposed to.
There was no wasn't supposed to, was supposed to. There's it's just like
No, we were supposed to be on the hunt for this, not go out and order it special.
Well, the hunt was successful, JB. We successfully hunted it down, and now we're showcasing this, our trophy for sport.
Oh my!
This is your trophy. JB's gonna have that mounted. Anyone else here have a unicorn mounted at their house?
No, I'll be the first.
But Mr. Fast,
I will be the
JB
first.
Smooth is gonna, hell yeah. 1 of 5,000. It is a badass truck driven by a couple of badass ladies.
Women,
Caleb
yes.
Blood,
Shout out.
Jamie Sullivan in the Sparkle Smash Monster Jam truck.
I will display this proudly in the man cave.
Hell
I hope
yeah.
you know that, ladies.
Hell yeah. But as always, we're here breaking down NASCAR. They were just riding around in the corn out in Kansas, JB. I guess I would probably be the more corn.
I will be more
But
corn
they're out
fed.
in Kansas, a little older, a little bit more rougher of pavement out there. People were excited for some good racing. They thought last year produced the closest finish in NASCAR history.
Was it .001 like second?
It might either 001.
It
or
was super close.
0001.
Yeah.
They could barely call it at the broadcast, but I believe it was Kyle Larson who ended up stealing
Yes,
it.
indeed.
And then it was Kyle Larson who, in an undoubtable manner yesterday. I think I was trying to figure out
complete dominance.
An
That's
undeniable victory for Kyle Larson yesterday. 221 out of the 267 laps led. Insane. Won all 3 stages. I mean, it was his race to lose, and I think honestly, JB, I think we're gonna talk a little bit more about it as we get towards the end of the show. But I think we're definitely gonna hear a lot more of Kyle Larson as we ramp up towards All-Star Week in Indy, and through the month of May. But I think throughout the whole season, Kyle Larson's gonna be a name we're gonna keep hearing ringing through our ears.
I definitely think so. Like I said, I text you after the race about 3 names that to me stood out a lot this season, just alone in these couple races that we've had so far. But Kyle Larson, he's just nothing that he does can ever go wrong. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's just had, we'll call it luck or call it just skill. He's just been out there just dominating, and you got to give it to him. You got to give him all the credit because he just gets out there in the lead and then just takes nothing for granted. I mean, he's a veteran out there and keeping the tires fresh and also just, stay in his lanes.
I think
clean lanes, man.
I thought we saw a little bit of luck aid what is an immense level of skill. Not yesterday, but Sunday.
Yeah,
because it wasn't that late in that second and third stage. They were talking about his tires, kind of getting worn.
The tires getting
worn. But
worn.
he was able to still keep the life on him enough to finish out the stage, get the win,
still keep the speed going, and still keep the tires
that's
not
skill.
wore out. But
that's skill to know your car, know how to drive it, and then like I said, get a little bit of luck to make it to the end and stuff like that. But he has undoubtedly been one of the best drivers for the last few years. And I mean, even when he came into the team, into the sport, driving in the 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing, however many years ago it was now, he was a name I'm pretty sure. One of the other people I can remember taking over either was the 41 or the 42, but Reed Sorensen was the name in NASCAR who was had some speed, and my dad really liked him. But then Kyle Larson was another name another driver who came up around the same time, kind of taking over that mantle, with the team. And I might be mixing teams up and stuff like that, but I just say I remember just from when he was a rookie, just when he took over, Kyle Larson always kind of stood out on the track as a fast driver, and I think as he's become a veteran in the sport, we're seeing this younger drivers make their way up. He's able to take advantage of his knowledge and skill level to just dominate the competition.
He's definitely someone to learn from all these younger drivers out right now. Obviously, at the end of the race, he just kind of did the spin, the burnout, and then blew that right tire.
Yeah,
as you seen him driving to the back. But it was all worth it, man. It was all worth it just for him to get that win, a dominating performance over the weekend. Hats off to this man. I am so impressed with this dude.
And for all the people who were claiming it was a bit of a boring race and stuff like that, I want to call him out. You could say that, hypocritical though, because albeit, do we want to see a little bit more action in passing? I think boring,
of course, yes.
Boring maybe compared to the exciting finish of last year's race. However, if you enjoyed the dominance of William Byron at Darlington, then you should have enjoyed the dominance of Kyle Larson at Kansas.
Yeah, you should have.
Obviously, I like a little bit more of competitive racing too, but if there's one driver out there who is just clear cut, just a cut above the rest, then I don't mind seeing a tight competition for second, third, fourth, and whoever rounds out the top five. Because if you're the best driver out there, then you're the best driver out there.
You're the best driver out there. You're proving it.
Yeah, there was another car out there I thought was really fast and ended up finishing much further down in the standings than I thought.
Who's that?
We'll save that for our,
okay.
For our pass, gas, crash.
Okay. All right.
I really like that good, bad, and ugly you came up with, JB. So,
okay.
But yeah, Kyle Larson, man, Christopher Bell, nice finish at the end. I thought he was that other name that you mentioned, him and Ryan Blaney that you texted me and said these are three names I think we're going to be listening to.
These are three names at the end of the season that I feel are going to be competing for that that trophy.
Yeah, and I told you, I think this is Larson's season to lose. I think he's going to be the name we're going to hear at the end of the year lifting the trophy. And not that I say I don't want to see him win it, but
stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. He's a really good driver, and this could be the year of Kyle Larson. Like I said, he's going to be all over the headlines in the news as we get closer to All-Star Week, as we get closer to the Coca-Cola 600, Indy 500. He's gonna have a busy weekend, come Memorial Weekend or maybe right after. But
I gotta check out the All-Star voting because I believe it came out. I'm not too sure who's the top 8, but definitely have to tap into that to check that out.
Okay, I gotcha. Hell yeah. But JB, you
what's up?
I say, you have any more race recap you want to go over? Or I'm kind of getting ready to do my little bad and ugly now.
I was going to say, you're getting ready for it. Just shout out once again to Kyle Larson. Complete domination over the weekend. All stages. Henderson Motorsports, you have yourself a quality top driver right there, man.
Yeah, I will say I am kind of getting a little bit bored of the cars.com paint scheme.
I admit, yeah, their paint scheme is just kind of.
They run it like.
But it's like, don't change anything that's not working.
Yeah,
don't change what's not broken.
The boring part about it is when they have 4 cars in the truck series and they're all running the same HendrickCars.com. Like we're hiring technicians, and it's like that's a bit boring, man. And I'll say I don't mind mixing it up. I really liked like I said, sucker for a Valvoline. So that red Valvoline he was rocking last week. I dug that. Wouldn't mind seeing something more like that, but I mean, hey, Spirit Kendrick's team. If he wants to rep his own company, like, can't hate him. I think.
You can't really hate on them.
They're definitely the premier team in racing, at least in NASCAR. So, can't if you want to take down the big dog, you have to step up and I'm trying to figure out a way to say it, but yeah, they're definitely the big dog on the block. You know what I mean? So.
They're definitely the big dog on the block, but let's get into this. What was it? Gas Pass Grass.
Yeah, gas.
Because I feel like you're excited about it. I feel like you got some people
fun.
that I'm not really. That's not really on my radar. So
yeah,
what do you got? You go first this week.
Yeah, let me pull up my little notes right here. I got for my gas. We'll keep gassing him up a little bit as we have been for the last few minutes. It's Kyle Larson. I mean, like I said, 221 laps led out of 267. What more can you say? I mean, the man has tied for the most race wins on the season with 3. He's currently at the top of the standings in the season. Most stage wins, I believe, on the season. So, I mean, like I said, it's kind of like the picture right now that's being painted for this season is a portrait of Kyle Larson's face, it seems like. Early on, there was a couple other drivers who were making some headlines and stuff, but like consistently, it's been Kyle Larson. Now, speaking of consistency, JB, as I move on to my pass, this driver doesn't have a win on the season yet. They're fourth in points, though. Again, consistently in the top 20. They have a long streak of top 20s. So they got a P15 this week. Arguably one of the fastest cars on the track. Chase Elliott. And we're trying to give him some of that good luck. I thought it was
trying, man.
That Amazon Prime car, I thought the side profile didn't look the coolest, but that white number 9 on the top popped a lot. I thought like the angled view as they run around the track, I was like, man, this car looks good, it looks fast, it's driving fast. I thought he had a good shot to maybe steal a win, and it was a bad showing on pit road that put them in the middle of the pack, cost them some positions. I think it was during Brad Keselowski's crash, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up costing him. Bummer. Hopefully, like I said, we'll see that them put it all together and get a nice trip to victory lane here soon. But rounding out my crash, a car that was leading the race that did hit the wall. Ended up finishing second to last. We're repping the number up here. Number 6, Brad Keselowski. It's been a bummer, man. He's a driver. He's an owner driver. There's been a few times where he's been up near the front of the race, and he's ended up crashing out. And I think it was at Darlington. He was up near the front. It was again like this race he was leading. It's just I like Keselowski. I mean, he's a Michigan guy. He's from Rochester Hills, not too far from here. I mean, he won the championship in 2012. He slayed the Jimmy Johnson Dragon that no one could take down in NASCAR for 5 years. And I would love to see him get back in victory lane at least one more time before the end of this year and before the end of his career, because who knows how much longer he's going to keep driving. He's probably going to have to win a race to make it into the playoffs, but I want to see Keselowski make it in the playoffs. I want him to be one of the 16. So, bit of a bummer to see him hit the wall, but have no fear. We'll show some love to Mr. Keselowski, later on.
I definitely think he'll bounce back, and 2 of the names that you mentioned are on my list actually as well too. So, man, obviously,
we're always we're always pretty in lockstep with each other.
We really are, and obviously, we've been gassing him up all morning. Kyle Larson, obviously, you can't go wrong with this guy. I mean, hey. Henderson Motorsports, like I said, once again, you got yourself a guy. Change up the paint job just a little bit, but other than that, keep doing what you're doing. He's got his mind focused on the end of this season and where he wants to be, and honestly, that top 4 competing for that trophy is where he will be. My pass, Michigan's own Brad Keselowski. I had to put him up there once again just because he was doing well in this past race, second in the field of 38, and just, you know, some lost tire pressure, a fluke accident is just keeping him out of the top 10 this whole entire season and out of a win, honestly, and it just sucks for him. It hurts because he's, you know, Michigan guy. You want to see him up there at the top, and just a couple runs with bad luck, man. I just hate to see it.
Yeah.
And finally, my grass. Sticking with my guy from last week, one Mr. Denny Hamlin. A second, did not finish off of the week before was tires, and now this week this week it's a clutch. No, last week was engine. This week was a clutch. So now it's like, come on, a $20 part that just kind of blew out on them. They were trying to push it to get it to go, and it just failed. It just ran out on him, and you could see he is visibly upset once he hops out of that car. And like you said, I don't know how many more races he has left in him, how many more seasons he has left in him. On top of that, you're suing NASCAR as well too. So
yeah, you got that charter issue.
You got a lot of stuff going against you, and you still want to try and compete for this trophy at the end of the season. So best of luck to you, my guy. Hopefully you get it figured out with your crew as well.
The good thing about Denny is he has won a couple races. He did go back-to-back earlier in the year. So it's like I did almost think he did almost make my list, but I did give him the benefit of the doubt for that reason. And I was like, all right, but I do get it. Like, yeah, it does suck crashing out. And then also, you know, like you said, the off the track stuff that they're going on with the 2311 team. Although he doesn't, while he's behind the wheel of the Joe Gibbs Racing Team car, he doesn't have to worry about that. But I mean, he is, you know, out there forking out his own dollars. He still has to worry about that, yeah. You know, his own techs and stuff like that. So
I mean, he calls himself the black cat of NASCAR. So, you know,
yeah,
it's rough.
Very fair, very fair. I mean, fitting too that he'd be with like Jordan too. He's kind of like, you know, Jordan, bit of like a black sheep in a way too.
Yeah.
But you ready for car of the week, JB?
Oh boy, I tried to be super different with car of the week because like I don't want to come back up here and be like, oh yeah, Bubba Wow's car at Columbia, you know. So I had to pick a lot of different ones. So
I hear you.
This was a little rough for me.
No worries. Well, I'm gonna give you the floor. I'd love to hear you lead the way this week for car of the week.
Oh boy, I brought him up in our pass, gas, and grass segment.
Okay.
One, Mr. Brad Keselowski. Number 6, the Kroger
the
Allegra car in the 4.
That purple and yellow looks
The purple and
good.
yellow looks good.
It
looks
really
good. I gotta admit, I'm a fan of the purple and yellow. Just mixing those together. That's one of my honorable mentions. Rounding out number 2, Ross Chastain driving the number 1, Busch Lights. The Busch.
Cool, man. The mountains are looking good. It's hard.
The light blue is a cool color.
It does.
It's a cool color.
It looks really good.
It is a very cool color. And for number 1, I went kind of off the rails with this one.
Okay.
I sent you a picture of this car earlier last week. One, Mr. Corey Heim with the number 67 Robin Hood.
Yeah, that was a cool looking car, JB. And I did like that. I think had a top 10 finish. Let them double check that right now, really fast.
Yeah, but I just like the was like neon yellow and black together, and it had like the little Robin Hood logo feather on the top too. Which shout out to Robin Hood because that was my first stock trading app I used. Actually got a little bit of money off of it too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out. Nice. 13th for Corey Heim, but still. Nonetheless, a driver normally in the truck series, I believe, is their primary series, and then a pretty solid showing in the NASCAR Cup series. So shout out! Really cool to see. And also, yeah, that was like a greenish yellow. It kind of reminds me of the color of those pillows over there.
Yeah, it reminds me of those pillows colors, like a little neon green yellow. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I thought that was cool. Yeah, it was a nice, cool scheme.
The font color too, the font style, it all looks really good, JB. So hell yeah,
those are my top 3.
Yeah. Again, as we dive into my cars of the week, JB, we got another little bit of overlap.
Really?
Yeah, it's like we just can't help but get along so well. My first honorable mention is gonna be that number 6 Allegra Kroger car, GB. I also thought it looked really good, and it's something about the chrome numbers. It's not just the purple, it's not just the yellow and the way those colors combine together. It's the silver on the 6 and the way they have that shine in the middle of it, man. It's just like I thought. Like, look at the 6 on the Mark Martin. I think that's a badass looking 6.
Yeah, see, that's a badass 6.
That's tough to beat.
This 6 is clean though.
They found a way to match it. Yeah, because I would argue the old school 6 of like the aughts and like teens, that style 6 is it. I'd rank it third between like the modern 6, that scripted like paint styles, like chalky. I don't even chalky, but like I don't know what it would be, but that's a sweet 6.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog-ish.
Yeah. Again, RFK, man, what they're doing with those chrome numbers, they look clean. I think honestly, like, you know, I think the first time we ever really saw a car and that was like, damn, that looks nice, was an RFK car that made me kind of like kicked off car of the week, I want to say. So then my next honorable mention, JB, another number represented here on the desk.
Oh boy.
The number 12 of Ryan Blaney. Now this was pretty much the number, a numerical inverse of Josh Berry's car from last week with the 21. Very similar paint style, and I'm pretty sure that the Wood Brothers and Team Penske have some type of like collaboration
connection,
or something like that. Because I remember back during one of the races, they were all having like the battery issues. I think, you know, and Josh Berry was one of those guys. And, like, they were talking about the Penske team and the Penske garage having issues. But yeah, I thought that it looked really cool. Josh Berry just missed the cut last week. There was a lot of really cool looking cars, but the way they have those like racing lines or the stripes on there, and then like they just kind of clear it out, and there's like that like clean white box with the like the crispy black font of the number, I think looks really, really good. Dig it. And for me, it was hard to miss the list twice in a row. So even though it was a different driver, the same style, and they literally just took the 21 and you reversed it, put the 1 in front of the 2, and you had the 12. So Ryan Blaney, a little bit better performance too than last week's Josh
definitely
Berry in the scheme. So that's what gave it, you know, the nod this week. And then again, JB, I kind of teased it a moment ago. What honestly I feel like kicked off car of the week. This was the I think back in Phoenix, I want to say, when Chris Buescher was rocking that Dasani car. We were like, damn, that's badass.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, I think we should start making a car of the week type deal. And I think Mr. Chris Buescher came through with another badass looking car. And if you have an issue, go ahead and grab a tissue from the number 17 Kleenex car, baby. Again, the blue, solid. I've talked about how much I like blue before with some of the other cars. It is a clean looking blue. And then, again, the just silver, it just looks so good. The font, the 17, it shines a little bit brighter than, and in a little bit of a different way than the number 6 does on Brad Keselowski's Allegra Ford. But man, like I said, I saw that, I was like, whew. And again, it's remind, like, I wasn't as much of a fan of when Ricky Stenhouse took over the 17 for Matt Kenseth. I don't mind cheering for Chris Buescher as much. I'm becoming a bit of a Chris Buescher fan, as you know. I'd say, you know, like seeing him in the 17 and liking what I'm seeing. So, you know, the 17 holds a special place in my heart, and so it when it's looking as good as it does, it's gonna find its way into my car of the week rankings. This week, it's at the top.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That Kleenex car was battling for number 3.
Yeah,
honorable mention for me. It really was.
I thought it looked really good. I mean, hey, like I said, you got an issue, go ahead and grab a tissue from the Kleenex car, baby.
But it was a clean car. It was clean.
It was. But like I said, I talked about becoming a little bit of a Chris Buescher fan, JB. I know we talked a little bit about, you know, you dropped the double Bs and Larson, Blaney, Bell, Larson. I talked about Larson. We're kind of getting towards middle of the season. We're creeping towards All-Star Weekend and stuff like that. Who do you think, JB, you think is going to be do you want to make a prediction for like just someone you think will be in the championship for, or you want to make a little bit of a prediction of who you think is going to be lifting up that trophy?
So, prediction of who will be in the 4, obviously Larson, Blaney, Bell. Those guys automatically in the 4 for me. Very bold and early prediction. Who will win it? No disrespect to Kyle Larson, but I'm rooting for my guy Christopher Bell to take home this trophy this season. If you haven't seen Netflix Full Speed, or I think it's Full Speed, go and check it out. Season 1, Season 2 is out right now. Christopher Bell honestly did not win, but he was damn close. He gave it his all in that final race this past season, and I'm looking for him to take charge and then just give it his all-out best once the season ends this year and honestly take home a trophy, because he was talked about as someone who shouldn't be in the position that he's in right now. He was an underdog, and I truly believe right now he's going to flip the script for everyone and prove why he should be that top dog that you should all look out for and holding up that trophy this season.
Hell yeah. I like Christopher Bell. And I think he had the 3 wins earlier in the season to pretty much just stamp his spot pretty all season near the top of the standings, and then definitely going to be in the playoffs. So it's just going to be like, just making sure you can stay fast throughout the rest of the season, getting into, once you get to the playoffs. But,
making sure you stay fast and loose.
Yeah, yeah. Not too loose though. Yeah. So you don't want to lose that back end on the corners.
That is true. Yeah, those turns.
But yeah, I mean, I like Christopher Bell a lot. It's like, again, like I would say for me there was a little bit of jadedness seeing some of the drivers who took over for people I grew up watching. Like for the longest time, like the 20 was Tony Stewart, and then Joey Logano for a brief period, and then Matt Kenseth. And then it was Eric Jones, and I was just like, and then I was just like, I just didn't think that like Eric, like I don't know, it just felt like it was. I liked rooting for that car, and then it just felt like I didn't really like rooting for Eric Jones. It felt like it wasn't as good of a driver taking over for that. And then, but like seeing Christopher Bell in the seat of the 20 for Joe Gibbs, it's like, yeah, that belief is kind of back again. Or it's like awesome. It's like Joe Gibbs is. They're always a tough team out there, and they're always putting out fast cars. But again, like you said, it's nice to have those drivers who, I'm rooting for again. I guess more or less. I guess,
yeah.
So.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this is Kyle Larson's season to lose. Like I said earlier in the show, I think it's going to be him holding the trophy. I think we're going to see him as a multi-time champion by the end of the year, and. I think I wouldn't mind I'd love to see Chase Elliott make the Final Four. I think it hurt a little bit seeing him end up losing ultimately in the championship. But, I think it's going to be Blaney in there battling with Larson for sure. I think out of Larson, Blaney, Bell, yeah, I'd say for sure Blaney and Larson are going to be battling out of Phoenix.
And I could definitely see those two like battling back and forth.
I could see Bell being in the mix too. I could see him somehow, like maybe someone stealing one, like someone stealing a race, in like the second or third rounds of like the playoffs, where someone like Christopher Bell ends up just getting cut just because, like I said, someone steals it.
So just to steal the spot.
So who knows? We'll see. But I mean, there's still a lot of season left. Excited for what lies ahead, and we'll see. We'll see who comes into victory lane next week. You have a little prediction, JB, on who you think's going to be hitting victory lane next week? I'm double checking the schedule because I actually don't remember where we're going to be at.
Ooh, excuse me. Because next week this week is All Star, and next week is, I wrote it down somewhere. I think it's the Coca-Cola.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, Coca-Cola in Charlotte.
Yeah, we got All-Star at North Wilkesboro this weekend. So, fun little race for $1 million.
Charlotte.
And then, yeah, dude, the Coca-Cola 600. That's going to be a fun one because then Kyle Larson is doing the Indy 500 like right after that. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fun day for him.
I wonder, would you be upset if your number 3, Austin Dillon, somehow just made it into the top?
I don't know. I haven't thought about him too much. I saw him finish like 22nd a lap down, and it's just like all is right in the world again. So don't think about him too much, or at least I haven't lately. Like I said, once I got all my Dale stuff back, and I just like when I get to see the number 3, and with that thick mustache and 7 Winston Cup champions associated with it, it kind of makes me forget about that loser who's driving the car now. So.
You gotta call him a loser.
Dude, JB, actually, I wrote this down. I'm glad you just remembered it. The broadcast, I think it was like, I think I sent it to you, or maybe I didn't, but I'll have to find it again. They were calling him out on the broadcast. They kind of said like how bad he sucked. They were talking about, I think it was towards the end of
Can they
stage
do
2.
that? Like, they should be like impartial to.
It was like they were like saying like, oh, he sucks as a driver or anything like that, but they were like talking about how bad he was running, and like it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I was just like creaming at the Austin Dillon hate.
Oh
like,
my
hate,
god!
but there was something like, yeah, he's like 2 seconds slower than all of the cars out there, and it was like they're trying to be nice, but at the same time, it's like what
you
like,
can't really
talking,
be nice because
like,
that's like somewhat of a diss.
Yeah, he's bad. It's like you just it's like, oh, he's trying, but.
Like, participation trophies
yeah.
don't matter. I'm sorry.
I was laughing. I think it was like Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick and the guys in the booth. They were like, "Yeah, I mean that number 3 car, it's
out there."
So, yeah. but either way, I think that might be wrapping it up for the episode. JB, I see Sam kind of making his way into the studio, so we'll call it there. Thanks for tapping in. Like I said, double digis. So shout out Scott Riggs, shout out Eric
Let's
Amarola,
go.
Danica Patrick, Ty Dillon, to say the better of the two Dillons in the family, from Mr. Fast, from Mr. Loose. He's fast, I'm loose. It's JB Smooth and Chase Elliott, and we'll catch you guys later.
Sparkle Splash.